Welcome to Packets and Bolts, podcast about technology, life, philosophy, and everything in between. It is Friday, August 25th, 2023. Your host, Muskrat, along with my co-host, Mongoose, and Dubstench. Dubstench. Also joining us for the second time is Mike, the admin. How's it going, Mike? I hope
doing well. Thank you.
There he is. All right, well, reports of new dangerous COVID-19 strains are in the news. Are the conspiracy reports about lockdowns around the corner true? Grab a drink and let's discuss on this hot August evening. As always, we'll review some headlines.
Listener email?
Maybe, maybe not. Mix a cocktail extra to get one. Email us, show packetsandbolts@gmail.com, packetsandbolts@gmail.com. Join us on Discord. Follow us on Mastodon. It's Packets and Bolts at IOC.exchange. OnlyFans as well is out there. Find our Patreon. Sign up for the Packets and Bolts VPN.
What?
If you're an Iranian citizen, and you need to escape tyranny, Packets and Bolts VPN may be for you. Find us at your local alley.
We're also streaming on Disney Plus.
We have VPN exit nodes in Afghanistan and Russia.
Yes, we have some sympathizers in the Taliban that are admins for us.
Now we're on a list for sure.
Yeah, here we go.
Well, we won't give away any identities. North Korea, they can't stop the Packets and Bolts VPN either. We got nodes everywhere, baby.
I know, it shields you from nuclear missiles.
All right. Oh, it's been a while, admin. Mr. Admin. Is Mr. Admin? Is that the Sir Admin? Is that what you like to be called?
If you're Filipino, you will refer to him as Sir Admin.
Why is that?
Yeah, or Indian, either one.
Yeah, that's true. They all refer to you as Sir.
Sir, everything's sir.
And you need to do the needful.
You know what? I thought that was like a trend, the needful, because I worked with a guy, and that's like the whole thing, like do the needful. That's just like,
I've
okay.
never heard that before.
You never? Well, you need to bring it to your organization.
You haven't worked with enough Indian administrators.
This guy was not Indian. This is just like a thing that's been going around. I assumed it was like a new trend.
So the needful, like that's somebody, like a title for somebody who was asking you for help?
No, like you have to do something. Like let's say renew certs. They're like, can you, hey Dubsench, can you do the needful?
We're going to need you to do the needful.
I'll slap people if they start saying that to me.
Hey, it's just what's out there. It's just a trend. I don't know what to tell you.
So is me slapping people.
All right. Well, anyways, what's been going on before we dig into headlines? Anything cool out there in the world of Sir Admin? How's the coast? Uh-oh, we're getting interference. You must not be on the proper exit node for the Packets and Bolts VPN.
Is this a
The
secure
Packets
channel?
and Bolts VPN is failing already.
It's probably the deep state interfering with it. How's the coast over there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can. How's the coast, Sir Admin?
Okay. I think my Wi-Fi had a blip there, so Russia must have been trying to DDoS it or something. But it's good. It's the coast is crowded in the summer, but the time to go is in the winter because it's it's nice and chill and there's not many people out there and it's not that cold. It's like 40s, 50s in the winter.
Oh wow!
So
How are the tent
that's
cities?
the time to go out there. Oh man, I'll tell you. I saw this meme the other day. It was like this newly wedded couple was looking for their first, one bedroom, 0 bathroom tent. It was pretty hilarious.
What? Jeez.
That's luxury, too.
I'd be concerned about a tent with any bathrooms in it.
Yeah. No, they're everywhere. It still doesn't. You got shitty leadership, and that's what happens when you have shitty leadership, and you get a bunch of people living on the streets. So.
Sounds like a lot of IT organizations we've worked for.
Yeah.
Well, if they were in charge of the cities, boy. Well, wasn't Amazon trying to build? Wasn't Amazon trying to get like some city where they controlled, like they were going to run the whole city? It was like a corporate.
So the smart cities.
I don't know.
That's where we're heading.
Okay, so here's a little beef, and
It's
we're
on
gonna have to have an
Prime
episode. We're gonna have to have an episode on the smart cities because I'm getting mad that the 15-minute city, which is a good idea, is now being turned into this weird propaganda thing about like smart cities, which the original idea of a 15-minute city is just design your city so that it's walkable, mass transit is good, et cetera, right? It's not about like banning cars, but now there's like some cities that want to like track everything. They want everything to be like automated or something where you can point and click crap. I don't know. And they want to make it illegal to drive cars in like someplace in Canada.
Well,
I don't know.
There's people that are looking at a design where people are shoved into smart cities where everything you would ever need is within walking distance.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a good design your cities with walking in mind.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But you still want to be able to travel to other cities if you want.
Well, right. The smart city is all about like electronic surveillance and all that other shit. That is weird. I don't want to live in a 1984 kind of.
You already are.
Well, I know we're getting there. Yeah. I don't know. Is your city smart, Sir Admin? We should just change your name to Sir Admin.
Sir Edmund. No, it's not smart at all.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Phillips use.
Well, so anywhere it legalizes, heroin and hard drugs, I don't think that's a smart city.
Hey! Portugal, everything is decriminalized, and they're fine. The rates dropped.
It's true.
So the population.
It's true. We know a guy who lives in Portugal now, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And he's doing heroin. So
I don't think
you know what it is?
I'm pretty sure he's
But
not.
you know what it is? It's population control, right? I mean, that's how they control the population.
All right.
I'll let all the people overdose, and then you can, have as many people.
That's always going to happen. But I'm gonna go against that. So in Portugal, they actually saw a decline. However, they did it, I'm sure, better than what's going on the coast because they had all of the treatment available and everything was there. And of course, they have better social programs. If you're living on the street, your likelihood to do heroin until you die is much higher than if you have a place. And Portugal, doesn't have the same.
Well, what
kind of
about
problems.
so, Sir Edmund? Do they have the vending machines where you can go up and get free methadone?
I don't know if there's vending machines, but you can get methadone almost anywhere. There are methadone clinics everywhere here.
Because they're rolling those out in San Francisco, where you can just go up, right,
Yeah.
producer? You can go up to, we talked about this earlier, right? Where you can just go up to the vending machine and get free. Wait, they got that in Wisconsin?
Narcan things to save
Narcan,
overdose.
yeah, Narcan's the savior from overdose.
Yeah, test for fentanyl. Yeah, there's so many topics we need to cover. Why are they lacing weed with fentanyl? That's weird. And that's why we need legal weed, so that it's regulated and pure.
So do you think it's just to kill people? Like it's just malicious, or do people doing it for other reasons? I don't get it.
For
myself.
the fentanyl stuff, lacing everything with fentanyl? Yeah, that's probably... It's got to be to kill people. What else is there? Why?
Well, supposedly, the cartel is lacing this stuff, maybe, or somebody in, the middleman. I don't know what that little chime was. Did you hear that? Anyway, so they're lacing it somewhere along the import route, but there's no policing the border anymore.
I don't get what the point is. What's the upside to doing that? Like
population control.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Like, what's the point? I want to know what it is.
So back in the 80s, right, when cocaine, I mean, you saw, what was it, the movie Blow with Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
He was, it was the 90s or 2000s.
I mean, a great movie, but we know now, looking back, that the CIA was involved with importing drugs during the so-called war on drugs.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, but they're going to stomp it down. Like, that's a powder. You can stomp it down and you maximize your profits. I can see where you put whatever in there, but...
Yeah, not fentanyl. That's weird.
But my point is, there is an arm of the government that is controlling the importation of drugs. They're not trying to stop it. Maybe parts of the government are, but the other parts are trying to bring it in.
That's how they get their black budget. That's their black budget right there.
Yeah.
All right, that's a whole other topic. We gotta get to the
crazy.
We gotta get to the headlines. We could talk forever about it. The illegal drugs that are coming by the military-industrial complex.
By the way, are we mixing a drink today, or did we already mix it?
Yes, we mixed House Margarita.
Tell us about the drink, Muskrat.
House Margarita is the Muskrat Special Sauce.
Signature.
Triple sec and tequila of choice. Add with ice in a shaker. Shake till well blended and pour.
Sounds elaborate. like shittier than the other margaritas that we've done on this
Yeah,
show.
this is not the high-end classic margarita. This is the lowbrow margarita.
It's still
it's
good.
pretty- yeah, it's pretty good.
It's better than Chili's.
I thought it was the commoner's margarita.
The commoner's margarita. The house margarita. Now,
House margarita.
if you really wanted to go lowball, you could use rail tequila. I don't condone rail tequila, but if you needed to, it'll work.
Let me just remind everybody that 1,000 years ago, people didn't have in Europe ready sources of clean, fresh water to drink. So they used to ferment beer and drink it all throughout the day while they worked their IT jobs. And so this is why I don't feel bad about drinking while I'm working.
There you go. There you go.
So
All right.
I don't need it. I'll drink on the job anytime.
hell yeah. So, Sir Admin, what's your favorite drink during maintenance?
Oh, during maintenance, let's see. It depends on when the maintenance is. Like, if it's at night, it's probably,
Yeah,
probably
we're
Red
talking
Bull
like
vodka.
11 p.m. local time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, probably Red Bull vodka would be good.
All right.
That'll keep you up for a while,
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you,
Keep you
Muskrat?
alert. Keep you alert so you don't pull or anything.
Hey, whoa, wait.
Don't black that out.
Yeah.
Alarm. Muskrat. What's your favorite drink? Oh, wait, you're a security guy now, so you don't do maintenance at night. Okay.
So here's the deal.
Dub stench.
Here's the deal. Worst time to do maintenance. Local time, 3 a.m. My cutoff for maintenance is 2 at the latest, 2 a.m. Because anything after that, it's like you either have to make the decision: do you take a nap before maintenance, which screws everything over if you have to wake up to do maintenance, or you're working till like 5 in the morning. You're like, what the hell? Now I have to go to bed. But it's like
And I've
sun up.
tried to take a nap before, and I've overslept into the start.
Yeah.
Having to wake up is the worst and do maintenance. I hate that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
did it
feel
a couple
groggy.
times. I get it a couple times as the worst thing.
You know, honestly, I bought smelling salts the other day for just that. Like, I really did. I will show you guys on break.
Just crack one and I'm ready to go.
I did. Yeah. You know, nothing like a fresh breath of ammonia to wake you up for maintenance.
Have you used it yet? Before
I
maintenance?
have.
You're
And
like
it
nodding off. You're-
kind of works.
I don't think I've ever used a smelling salt before. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's
no.
just a blast of harshness that kind of wakes you up. But
caustic.
No.
Caustic
It doesn't
odors.
sound very fun.
no, you don't want to do it too much. It'll burn your lungs and shit. But
Right.
definitely a shot
Inhaling
to your nose.
inhaling ammonia is not condoned. Correct. That is an accurate
Only
statement.
if you're a
Non-use.
hardcore admin working late night maintenance. Yeah, that's what it takes in IT. But so Dub Stench, what's your favorite late night maintenance drink?
Well, it probably have to be something that kind of keeps you awake. I think I've tried beer in the past, and then there's one time I was working on a server, and instead of rebooting it, I accidentally shut it down. And I thought I was going to have to drive in, which was going to be a problem because of the beverages. And then I just hit up our overseas server resource who was able to, through ILO, to
All
turn it back
right.
on. So I was saved. But then I was like, you know what? Better start playing a little more careful because that could be.
Now that's called teamwork.
That's called Saved by India right there. Saved by India.
I think it was the different region overseas, but yes.
Well,
You guys have Follow the Sun over there? Follow the Sun engineering?
No, I do. So the company I work for, we have a Philippines team and an India team besides the U.S. team.
Yeah.
So, technically there's 3 shifts. And,
Yep.
I mean, generally when I'm on call during the week, like, I don't get bothered that much. I have. And typically it's because the Philippines guy that comes right after our shit didn't answer the fucking phone right away. And then he comes back later and he's like, oh, dude, I could take it. I'm like, fuck off, I got it. But
So here's a question. Here's a question. So the Philippines and the other time zones that work with you, do you think they're what would you rate their skill level on a scale of 1 to 10?
well,
Just in general.
we have. So I think our U.S. engineers are the best.
Yeah.
We have 2. Now we have an India sister company because my company's big, but we have 2 Indian engineers that are on our U.S. team that work Indian hours, and they're really good. So I'd put them on par with us, but the other Indian engineers, like for our sister company, are just fucking dipshits. And then we have two teams. We have our engineering team with Filipino engineers on that shift, and we also have a network operations team that are in the Philippines, and they're like a step below, and they're all fucking idiots. So like the good Filipinos are on our engineering team, and they're really good. And then our network operations team sucks ass.
Well, we've got a surprise for you. We've got him on the call right now.
Welcome, caller. And that's not anything to do with the region. It's about the skill set that they give you. So obviously there's different tiers in each of these areas.
They tier it.
The training.
And then there's a suspicion I have that some of these tiers are actually working for like 10 different companies, and they're just kind of bouncing around, and you think they're devoted to you, but they're actually like taking 10 other tickets, and they're like, oh yeah, let me look this up real quick. Hold on a second.
So let me tell you a little story about something that happened just a day ago. So we had this instability of site, and last week Thursday I get pulled into this outage as soon as I log in. And they're like, the sites, they can't connect and they're getting cut off, like several clients at this Filipino site. So I look, and our network, we had one decent network operations guy, and he's like, yeah, the interface is flapping. And so I look, and the routing adjacencies are flapping. So I'm like, well, there's your fucking issue, so we got to stabilize it. So we stabilize it, and we make a plan. And the long story short, it was fucking weird. There was they were running copper connections from the core switching to the SD-WAN routers over a patch panel, but the devices were right next to each other.
Oh, I love it.
Literally racked one RU away from each other. I'm like, why are you guys running copper connections through a patch panel? Just cable it directly. So they do that, problem solved.
It's against our standard.
But, so this network operations people, I'm like, put this change and fix this, because they're supposed to do this after hours. So the next morning, I get this IM from this network operations engineer. She's like, Mongoose, I got this interface that's shut down, and I don't know if I'm supposed to re-enable it. Like, tell us what we're supposed to do, but at any rate, the maintenance was fine. So I look, and it's shut down. I'm like, why is that shut down? And I look at the accounting logs, and this same engineer shut the interface. And so I'm like, the logs say that you shut the interface. Why are you asking me why you shut it down? And she's like, I didn't shut it down. So I go to her supervisor. I'm like, talk to her. He comes back. He's like, yeah, she shut it down. She comes back like, yeah, I guess I shut it down.
I guess.
Like, what the fuck kind of games are you playing? Just fix the shit.
She was scared.
Look, I'm like, I don't care. Just fix it.
You gotta have compassion and empathy. At Packets and Bolts, we have compassion and empathy for everyone.
I don't know, Muskrat.
And
hell, we do.
If you want packets and if you want some empathy and compassion, email the show packetsandbolts@gmail.com. Packetsandbolts@gmail.com.
Empathy. So just to get this conversation back on track.
Jesus.
And spill your drink.
My last maintenance, I shoved a shit ton of Chivas Regal Scotch down my throat, and it was fantastic. So that's my go-to now. Highly recommend. Hunter S. Thompson used to drink it, and he was
before he did maintenance. Before
he did maintenance on his books, so same thing.
So this should have been the part of our sysadmin day. Sir Admin couldn't join us last week, so we're kind of continuing the sysadmin discussion here.
I couldn't join that. Well, I didn't join that week.
Yeah, you weren't there either. Yeah, Dub's
I was sysadmining way too hard the night before.
All right. Well, word of the day here. I don't know if I can pronounce it right. I was trying to find the phonetic spelling, but I can't. Frontistry? Frontistry? Have you heard of that? So this popped up in my thing, in my
your word of
my
the
feed,
day
my
email?
feed. Yeah, phonetics.
What's that mean?
So it's a place of thinking, and we try to engender a vibe of frontistry.
Can you click and make Google say it?
This is child's
do
play.
that now.
So Dub Stench and I used to work for a company, and we played this game where we would look up the word of the day every day, and then we had to use that word in an email to a client.
Yes, that was quite amusing.
Not just email,
actually.
Communication to a client.
That was quite.
Phone call worked too.
That was quite amusing, actually.
We all played that game.
Yeah,
I remember
we did.
that
Oh
one.
yeah,
we had a whiteboard. We had a whiteboard every day. Remember?
We had a DL
If
for
you
that.
were bold enough to email a client with the word,
Oh yeah, there was a DL.
Yeah.
There was a distribution list for it. Yeah.
Oh, for the word of the
I
day.
remember that.
They deleted that right before I left.
The word of the day DL.
Oh, what the fuck? That's
Yep.
lame, dude.
The word of the DL. The frontistry. So if you guys know of a more frontristic podcast, email the showpacketsinbolts@gmail.com.
You're stretching on these variations of the
Yeah, just listen. If you work in IT and your job sucks, make it fun. Email people with absurd words, maybe even obscene words, and see if you get fired. There's no fun unless there's danger involved.
That's true. That is true. I do remember one email where you did use some absurd, crazy word, and I was like, no way. Oh, that was good.
Fortune favors the bold.
I remember doing that all the time. We would send these stupid emails. The customer would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, just totally wedge that word in there to make
Ye
it
of
happen.
small vocabulary customers.
I remember there was some debate as to, because I did it over a phone call.
Oh, it didn't count.
Well, I feel like it
should
should because
count.
it was a communicate. You were the one who said it was.
Well, we couldn't prove it.
We couldn't prove there was
You
no
were sitting
rec-
right next to me.
These fucking voice guys, man.
They should have recorded their call.
Well, that I started to do that from that point forward. It was
Started
ad hoc recording. but-
always call recordings, man.
All right. So, you want to know? You want to hear something that's not news to some people? The Gray Zone reports leaked documents reveal that Reuters helped overthrow Egyptian democracy. Remember the Egyptian coup?
Reuters.
Rotor.
That's what I thought of when you said that.
Do you remember the coup in Egypt? Like back during, wasn't that the start of the Arab Spring? And they elected
King Tut.
After they elected King Tut, they elected a different leader, and then almost immediately everyone was accusing that leader of being like an extremist or something, and then the military seized control. Well, Reuters helped to overthrow that. There you go.
You mean mainstream media is being used to overthrow
Well,
governments?
that might be a surprise to some people out there.
I've never heard of such a thing.
All right.
Love me some Reuters.
Well, here's something to be worried about. Maybe not. Yahoo.com. 46,000-year-old worm found in Siberian permafrost was brought back to life and started having babies.
Cool.
Good for the worm.
So let's hope there's no problems with that worm. Or that it's
I think
not
that's
used
awesome.
to deliver some sort of variant.
Yeah, it's having babies. There's nothing wrong with
Or
it.
maybe it's got the cure.
It's got the cure for the variant.
Yeah.
For COVID.
Yeah,
It's got the
yeah.
COVID cure.
So what if there were humans on Earth 46,000 years ago? And I think there were. So there was human-worm interaction 46,000 years ago. Would we still have immunity to anything that worm... I mean, that's a legitimate question. I don't know.
So wait, someone that lived 40-some thousand years ago
Yeah, so you
encountered this
coexist
worm.
with a worm, and maybe the worm's got some shit. So the people develop an immunity to the shit the worm has. But the worm freezes, it goes extinct until it resurrects.
Well, he was probably infected with the worms and took a dump in Siberia, and then that got frozen in the permafrost.
Wait, what the hell are you guys talking about?
He was
I'm lost on this.
he was wormed, and he had to deworm himself.
Yeah, he ate food that had worms in it, and he shit it out. That's what happened.
This is the ancient trail of our ancestors.
Literally.
Passed down through generations of shit.
I thought Mongoose was going somewhere with this, and they just took a hard left turn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ours technical. Hackers can steal cryptographic keys by video recording power LEDs 60 feet away from a badge reader. So in one of the more esoteric hacks that I've seen, they're able to take certain badge readers that have those LEDs, and when the CPU processes your scan card, it will actually make the LED flash a certain way. Now, one might ask, well, how do you get enough information from the flashing LED to steal your crypto key? Well, good question. The answer is by using the cameras in either a phone camera or a hall camera. So they have to have access to these cameras. Now the next question is, there's no way you have enough frame rate to capture the blinking enough.
Hold on.
So you know what trick they used? Go ahead.
I'm not familiar with it. So you're saying these are badge readers that you take your badge and you swipe it in front of it.
Yep, and the LED blinks.
Why? Why does it blink? Why does it need to
Because it's poorly designed and the CPU has some sort of connection that as it's processing, there's power fluctuations and it makes the LED flicker.
I don't buy that.
It actually has been proven.
What? So hold on. So the attack in the wild looks something like this. This is what I understand, right?
It's a hard one to
Somebody's
pull
going to
off.
set up a camera at exactly 60 feet and then record somebody badging in.
Take over the cameras that are in the hall.
Okay. And then they're going to replicate the encryption key that they extrapolate
They can extrapolate the encryption key.
and they're going to put it on their own badge.
Something to that
And then
effect.
they're going to get entry to the
Correct.
facility.
Wait,
And then
hold on.
Correct. Now,
This sounds like the equivalent of back with like the phone days where you could like record, like go to a payphone, dump some
Quarter
money into
tones?
it. Yeah, and then you
yeah,
make the noise. And then you
pretty much.
Except for that actually worked.
And this
Like,
does too. They proved this, but has it been done in the wild? Not that we're aware of. However, intelligence agencies maybe could. Now, you might ask, how do they have a high enough frame rate? Because I think it's something like 60,000 or some insane high number. And you're like, well, no camera in a hallway or a phone has that frame rate. Guess what they discovered? They're scanning. The scanning of the sensor, if they take each scan line and make that a frame. So it has to be all set up correctly. They can actually replicate the higher frame rate than your camera's ever rated for.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's say like these things are displaying some sort of the crypto key or whatever, like through the light on the badge reader, and you're able to record it and capture all of it with a high def camera or whatever. How are you going to take blinking lights and turn that into a badge?
Chat GPT.
I don't understand how this how this is useful. To anybody.
So you need 60. So you basically using the shutter, activating a rolling shutter can upsample the sampling rate to collect roughly 60,000 measures per second, and you can actually extrapolate the key, the private key of your card. Now, this would take a long time to implement. Okay?
Well, but the key cards, like your badge, is like a twirl of copper, like inside of it.
Well,
like
yeah, but it's got a encode. No, there's an encoded. No, you're thinking of a simple RFID only. That's different. Most badge readers have an actual key that they're decoding.
Okay, but how do you?
So it takes a while. So let me see. It actually tells you have to have control of these cameras, and it has to be looking exactly at where it needs to be over a pretty long time.
First of all, control of cameras is not difficult.
No,
even
that's
today.
true. That's
I mean, there's been a lot of publicity about that over the years. It's still not difficult.
But control of good enough cameras.
Here's what it says. Even if both a reader and smart card are vulnerable, the reader must process the card for a full 65 minutes. So that basically they'd have to be watching you for quite a while.
But do you have to be badging in for a full 65 minutes?
Well, over time, they would basically have to watch you do this.
So I mean, if you break it down, and how often are people going in the door? Can they? Is it one particular badge? Yeah. So you got to watch a person
and you're
over
to gather
a period
a lot
of weeks
data.
or months.
But how much you want to bet? Intelligence agencies have already simplified the attack.
Oh, I agree. So here's my thought. You know about the NSA monitoring communications. You know, this came out around the Patriot Act. This happened in around the turn of the millennium, right? So around the 2000s, where they discovered that the NSA spying on us, and then they were able to determine that somebody from the NSA gained entry to the central office on the West Coast in an AT&T facility and gained entry to a locked room and was able to splice fiber from the Trans-Pacific cabling, the connection to what is the Asia
APNIC or whatever.
Is it APNIC?
The Asian Pacific.
ARPANET, isn't it?
Well, APNIC is the Asian Pacific whatever region.
Right. So yeah, the Trans-Pacific cabling and the connectivity to Asia, they were able to get into the room where the fiber was coming in and splice it without any downtime.
What?
So number one, the NSA was able to gain entry to a room without any audit logs, and it took a big investigation. And I mean, maybe there were some audit logs because they eventually found
Or they
this
had
out.
someone that knew how to get them through there.
And they were able to splice the connection without anybody knowing that there was any downtime, which requires an incredible amount of skill. I mean, look, like I'm a good engineer these days. Like, shit, like I do things and there's still convergence with routing protocols. How do you do that? How do you splice trans-Pacific fiber cable?
Well, fiber attacks, one way to tell you how they've used these things in the underwater, under sea things, they will dissolve the outer coatings, and then they will put a device on it that can actually then read the light directly, and then they never even move the cable off of there. They dissolve the actual coating. Thus, encryption is always key. Now, to thwart this attack, first of all, you can get a badge reader that's not so vulnerable. DoD ones supposedly aren't. How about no LED? But if you have an LED that you want to secure,
shut the little LED light.
Well, that's where I have a problem with this. Why is this badge reader like displaying an LED thing at all?
they like to go
People
green,
like the blinkies.
good, red, bad.
It's for management.
But why like somehow be able to decipher the?
Because they designed it poorly where the CPU has too much.
We need our graphs and we need our blinky lights.
How do you design it poorly where like an LED on the badge reader is like somehow flashing to like that is like the key to get in? Like
you got to look at the electrical engineers.
Haven't you ever gotten a ticket that says, I didn't see a blinky light on my badge?
It's called cheap engineering, and I bet you if you talk to the engineers that designed it, they'll say, I told them that
that's
was
like
a bad
saying like
design.
I have a key to get like a physical key to get in a room, but before you get in the room, you have to take this key and have it like copied, and then how did someone else get in this room? I just
Well, if you have a blinking light and a vulnerable badge reader and you want to cover said blinky light, you can order the Packets and Bolts privacy screen stickies. packetsandbolts@gmail.com. Email the show packetsandbolts@gmail.com.
You'll love them.
That's awesome.
All right.
We wear them as pasties on our OnlyFans.
and keep on lookout for matching mouse pads and T-shirts around Christmas time.
All right. So I don't know if you've seen this, but more bad news for Wells Fargo. CNN.com. Customers report missing deposits from Wells Fargo Bank. Now, that was from August 4th. I think they found the money, right? It was like
that's old news.
Yeah, it was like an error, right? But they just keep fucking up. How do you just make money go away?
They got sued, though. They got sued hard for that.
How do you make money go away? Is that the question? Isn't that what COVID did?
Yeah, I don't use Wells Fargo, but remember I told you guys, and I didn't see too much about it on any news blurs, but there was a big delay in my direct deposit for my paycheck.
Oh, there was a massive outage. I don't know if you heard about that, Sir Admin.
It was supposed to be something with the Federal Reserve, but that's
Wells Fargo?
No,
all banks,
multiple banks, and
I didn't hear about that.
They blamed it on the Federal Reserve, which sounds suspicious too.
Yeah, that was like usually I get my direct deposit on payday at, it might be there at like 1 or 2 in the morning. If I happen to look, I didn't get mine until 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I don't think, and a lot of people online were squawking about it.
That's because all those banks are still running SolarWinds.
The SolarWinds didn't do its scheduled task.
The
what was that?
Oh, the Federal Reserve was put in maintenance mode in SolarWinds.
And so it didn't alert. Yeah, that's what happened when the funds didn't show up. I just think it's funny, like, the Federal Reserve didn't ship their giant wad of cash to us today, so that's why you're not going to get it. Anyways, here's more ways you can be detected. I always wondered if this was possible. I assumed it was, but ArsTechnica.com. AI researchers claim 93% accuracy in detecting keystrokes over Zoom audio. So my only surprise in this one was Zoom audio was good enough to do it. I guess it's time to switch to a Dvorak keyboard layout.
Wait, so
they won't know what the hell you're typing.
They could hear what key you're hitting on the keyboard.
And somehow extrapolate the locations, etc.
What? I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
I'm telling you, man. Just telling you.
So many other keyboards out there, like.
That's why you gotta go with Dvorak.
People have their fucking like crumbs in their keyboard. There's no way.
Yeah, sure. If you're filthy enough at it, I purposely just eat potato chips over my keyboard so that it can't be.
Shit, when I was younger going to college, I worked a security job, and there was this fat fucker that worked the security desk before me, and he never fucking wiped his shit down. I come in, the fucking keyboard was full of fucking greasy fucking like pasty shit.
When you worked where?
A security job for a government contractor. Yeah.
It's horrible when you get a reissued keyboard from the most nasty skin flake.
He was a fat
I
fuck.
won't use it. I'm like, give me a new one right now.
It's like Alfredo sauce, like just, flowing out of the
Oh,
keyboard.
Fucking chicken wing sauce all over it and shit.
Here's a good story. So working at a telco / whatever you want to call it, internet provider, right? And I was at a facility where there was equipment, head end, et cetera, right? And one of the guys that was there, he wasn't there at the time, but that was his office. And in the garbage, guess what it was filled with? Empty containers of frosting and milk jugs.
Same thing.
The guy would eat frosting and milk jugs and drink milk. Like, that's not good. That's not good.
He's getting his calcium at least.
Yes, he's got calcium up the ass. Yeah.
Well, if you're going to eat sweets, you got to flush it down with milk.
He maybe figured he was like cutting out the cookie part, like the dough, like, milk.
Are you sure there wasn't like a baked good that he ate? And
I
just
had no
left the
evidence
frosting?
of that. I just saw.
that could be.
Because I get it. I hate frosting. Give me a birthday cake, and I will just shave the frosting off.
Yeah. Then he would have.
Frosting's the best.
He
Yeah.
would have taken that.
Oh no, man! I'm all about the fucking cake. Fuck the frosting.
Yeah, the cake is my weakness. I'll eat any fucking cake. I don't care if it's like a go fuck yourself cake. I'll eat it.
I'll take that cake.
Like a DQ ice cream cake. Boom.
No,
Crunch. You got to have the crunch layer. You got to have the crunch layer.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have DQ,
ice cream, yeah.
Not always.
Yeah, ice
I've been
cream
screwed
cake's
over by
gotta
that.
have the fucking
I've been
cookie.
screwed over with no crunch, and I was like, "Where's
take
the
it back?
crunch?" No, it was just someone else's cake.
Melted.
I couldn't. I guess I didn't get screwed over. It wasn't my cake.
Did you bitch?
No, you don't go. Where's your crunch layer, bitch?
Ruin their birthday?
I think the last time I had an ice cream cake was the time where at our previous job where you demanded a vendor bring in a DQ ice cream cake as an intro.
Yeah, our ISP account team would come in and try to smooth talk us, and I would only walk into the meeting just to say, "Did you bring cake?" And if they said no, I just walk right out.
And he did one time, but then nobody had a knife.
And I
you
did,
just had to
and then the account manager's
melt.
boss talked to my boss and said, "That's bullshit that he just came in and asked for cake." True story. And
what'd your boss say?
And he was just like, "Fuck you." So I mean, and my boss at the time is a douchebag. In hindsight, he sucked, but
That was a good.
that
one.
was
That was
cool.
a good moment.
That was that was a plus for him.
Well, here's
for that.
a good
Yeah, it's
moment.
priceless.
Here's a good moment. FoxNews.com. Tampa mayor catches $1.1 million worth of cocaine while fishing in Florida Keys with family. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor found 70 pounds of cocaine while fishing in near Marathon, Florida.
That should drip.
In the fish?
Dreams can come true if you wish hard enough.
So what did he do with it?
Well,
That's what I
apparently
wanna
turned
know.
it in. Supposed,
Dumbass.
but it was
Oh,
70.
brutal.
It was
Why?
70 pounds. You think that's how much it really was when he found it?
Well,
No,
I mean, there's,
it's probably 100 pounds. He turned
Yeah.
in 70 of it.
I found 70.
That's a weird amount.
Yeah. Either he took some of it and turned the rest in, or he was just completely honest.
Sharks are all over that,
But,
man.
like,
They've been
let's
acting
be
crazy
real.
lately.
If you're out in the wild and you find that much fucking drugs that probably came from a cartel, like, you'd be scared for your life.
Well, right. Yeah, I get that. But here's the deal. Why are so many things of cocaine washing up? Is there
they
like
dump it.
Is there just is there like just too many drugs in? Why aren't they going in through the coast
They dump it when
where
they're
it's
trafficking.
legal? Why are they going through Florida? They need to go
They're
change
trafficking
states.
it so much, and they mark that off as losses.
Well, yeah, they put
Did
on
you know
the taxes.
Did you know they build their own submarines in South America, and
yeah.
they actually take the submarines into Florida?
That's
They're like
amazing.
one
Into the
person
Keys.
submarines.
They
and they're
should have
terrible.
taken those submarines down to the Titanic instead of that pile of shit.
No,
fucking
these things
Oh,
should
dude,
get-
those submarines would have survived that fucking.
They would-
thing.
like these are the kind of submarines you don't even want to use in your bathtub. Like they're
No.
pretty sketchy.
Dude, those rich
Horrible.
people should have gone down in the cartel submarine. They could have got fucking high as fuck and seen the Titanic and lived.
Oh, that whole thing! What a fucking joke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that we found out that the government knew they imploded as soon as it happened.
Most likely.
And yet they still sent out rescue vessels.
And spent a ton of money on that.
And so they drag
It's
the
all
media
it's all
thing up.
optics. That's why they did it.
Optics, yeah.
Wag the dog.
Yeah. So, did you guys hear about the downfall bug, Ars Technica, downfall of the Intel CPUs? And AMD has one too, but it's a little bit different. So, it's basically like another Spectre meltdown hack.
Is this the one that reduces your CPU performance 50%?
If you install the, what's it called? The
patch?
Whatever. Yeah. The
Update?
mitigation.
Yeah. Remediation.
I can't think words today. Anyways, yes.
Words are hard.
So it's yet another. So AMD's is called Inception, and Intel's called Downfall. So have you heard of this? Number one, and if you have, what are you guys doing about it?
So I'll tell you how this is going to play out. This is going to hit corporate security people like you, Muskrat. And then you're going to say, you guys need to install this update. And then all the fucking CPU performance is going to drop by 50+%. And then everybody's going to be like, shit sucks. It's the fucking network.
Yeah, baby. You know what this is? This is a plan by the CPU makers to get more CPUs bought. Oh, your CPUs are slower now.
Plan,
I wonder why.
It's a plan to fuck network administrators over. Just saying.
It's the old Apple strategy. Slow them down so to buy more.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, is anyone remediating this thing?
So here's the thing. Like we just finished remediating Spectre Meltdown itself. So no.
Wait, you just
remediated like 5 years ago?
Yeah. So I've only been here a year, and when I came in, Spectre Meltdown was still on every fucking server.
Awesome.
And I'm like, you guys haven't looked at this yet? You don't want to remediate a 5-year-old critical vulnerability?
Nah, it's fine.
So I just got done doing that 6 months ago.
Nice. Well, that's good you're on top.
Fun times.
Now you're on the Heartbleed.
Yeah. Yeah, we're making our way to 2015.
We're finally getting off SSL 1. Netscape or whatever. We're getting out of there, and we're really cranking out Internet Explorer 3, and it's really going well. You know what? The best release of Internet Explorer was 5.5. Why don't they just bring back 5.5? It was the best release of Internet Explorer.
That was a good release.
It was actually.
It was their most stable release that they had. Actually, 7 was pretty good. 7 was good.
Bad. 7 was bad, but by then I think didn't Firefox exist? So
yeah, by then IE was on the downswing big time. So
I still use Firefox for everything that doesn't work. Whenever I run into a fucking issue, let me try it in Firefox, and boom.
I use Firefox for everything because fuck Chrome.
I never use Firefox.
Up the ass.
I use Chrome and Firefox.
You don't like Chrome?
Oh my gosh, no. It's taking all your data, man.
Doesn't anybody use Edge?
No, it's not.
Edge is Chrome.
No,
well, it's Chromium based, isn't it?
What about Opera?
I mean, listen, Google's sucking all your information off, so I'm not going to give it my cock. Anyways, all right, speaking of AI, TheGuardian.com, a supermarket AI meal planner app, suggests recipe that would create chlorine gas.
Cool.
So, and this is why, who the hell is asking AI to design their meal plans? I mean, come on, people.
I don't know, but I've worked in a lot of restaurants where the waitstaff cooked up chlorine gas recipes. I'm serious.
Not for food.
I mean, it wasn't on the menu.
It was just something they wanted to use to clean.
Dude, I walk in. I'm working at this restaurant back in the day, and I walk into the garbage room, as we call it, and there's this waitress, and she's pumping shit into a mop bucket, and she's got bleach in her mop bucket. I can smell it. And then she's hitting this button. She's like, Mongoose, why won't this come out? I'm like, what are you trying to pour in there? She's like, oh, it's this, I look on the label, it's ammoniated 4-hour cleaner. I'm like, well, first of all, the container is empty, and second of all, you'd kill everybody in this fucking place if you did it, True story.
Well, why? Here's what my question is. Because, you can't rely on everyone to just go and read all these labels. But why would you want to combine chlorine with anything else? Why are you trying to mix multiple cleaners?
Crank that up to
the
11.
more cleaners, the better.
I guess, yeah. I wanted to really clean.
If there isn't, visible gas emanating from it, it's not going to work.
Here's a chemistry tip of the day. All visible gases are poisonous.
Is that true?
That's the more you know.
Yeah.
All visible gases are poisonous.
Mustard gas?
And some clear gases, but not all, because we breathe air and we don't die. All right. So we got New York Post.
Some of us do. Some of us die.
Some of us die. Yes. Supermarket shut down due to spider that can cause long, painful erections. Now, why don't they take this spider and create a natural Viagra substitute?
Yeah, I saw that article. That's interesting.
They said in the article that they're working on that. They want to study.
Dude, I looked up how much Viagra costs the other day because I never used it, but I looked it up. It's like $400, $450 a pill in some cases.
Wait, $450 a pill for Viagra?
Insane.
You gotta get the generic
dude.
shit.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's
listen.
insane.
If you need your dick to work,
Get the spider.
Visit Packets and Bolts OnlyFans.
And throw a spider down your pants and hope for the best.
The problem is the spider can kill you, but it's let me see. Do you have to be allergic to it?
You
or-
gotta be willing to roll the dice.
You
You know,
probably gotta be
you know what someone's gonna do? They're gonna start a website and they're gonna sell these fucking spiders. The people that
That's what
don't want
you
to
did.
spend $400 on a Viagra pill.
Muskrat, disclaimer right now.
Website for spiders.
Do not use spiders for boner control.
Okay, that said, we don't condone that on Packets and Bolts, but I'm wondering if you inject the spider venom and it hurts and you're getting a big erection and you're having great sex, like what is it worth it?
What if it causes
Well,
necrotizing
what about the
cock?
people that are masochists? They like the pain,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
they get
BDSM.
hard and they're in pain at the same time.
And what about
They're
the
like, this is
long-term
the
effects?
best.
Like you could get eyelash cancer down the road.
Eyelash.
No, typically like poisonous like insects and stuff make you live longer.
They
don't
make you stronger. If
Since
you don't
when?
die from the boner, you'll be stronger. after-
That which does not kill us.
So
That's right.
So that's one way to get a boner. But anyways, yeah, they closed this whole store down because they couldn't find it. Now, is this an
Wait,
Australian?
where are the spiders indigenous? Like, where do you find them?
Is this Australian? It was in Austria, the supermarket.
Oh.
Brazilian. It was a
Okay,
venomous Brazilian wandering spider.
That's also coincidentally
Bananas.
where the most poisonous spider in the world comes from.
It was found in bananas.
Yeah, they're always in bananas.
So eat bananas.
Yeah.
So tarantulas and other spiders, they live and propagate in bananas. Yeah.
So what's the most poisonous spider? Because the black widow technically is, but their venom amount is so small.
I think the Latin name is like it starts with a P. I remember reading this in what's the Guinness Book of World
It's not a
Records
black
list?
widow.
No, it's
not a
like
black widow, though.
it's got a Latin name like P. ferra or something. Look it up.
Well-
producer's looking it up right now.
Well, the black widow is the venom is very poisonous, but it doesn't give you enough to kill you.
It is the Brazilian wandering spider. That's what it says on Google.
This one also can kill you usually because it doesn't give you
So
enough poison.
the deadliest spider in the world gives you a hard on and then kills you.
Well, only sometimes.
It's like one of those things that's got to do something good for you right before you die.
only-
You
you
know,
only die sometimes.
your one last shot. Your one
Double-edged
last
sword.
shot at it.
an adult
Literally.
male.
Full
one
load,
last
and then
shot.
I'm gonna kill you.
An adult male will not usually die from a. I think the number of deaths was it was very low. We looked this up. The producer's looking.
Well, what's the death to boner ratio?
Death to boner. I think there's more boners than death.
Well, I'd like to see.
So
those
then I
figures.
think
Yeah, we need the survival right here because this sounds really intriguing
Yeah.
right now. With the cost of Viagra,
Yeah, I want the odds of surviving because
Yeah.
it could be an interesting marketing idea.
I mean, if it's like 4 deaths a year versus like
yeah,
9,000
The death rate is so low that
Rangers.
it's worth it.
you know, if I get COVID, I'm just gonna fucking eat the spider and then just go on a fucking sex rampage.
okay, the funnel web spider is the most venomous, but that will kill you. How many people
The what?
die from this thing? The funnel web. That kills people in Australia all the time.
So what's the Latin name for that? It's raining. We can hear the rain on our mysterious bunker here in Wisconsin, Sir Edmund.
I can hear it too.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
The
thunderstorm.
government will never find us here, by the way.
We're looking at a thunderstorm.
Uh-oh.
I think now is the time to panic.
Well, we get the details on how many people die from the boners.
There's only been 15 deaths since 1903.
How many
1903,
boners?
And
how
what's the
and
ratio
how
of
many
boners?
boners?
Because if it was like
But there's
16
probably
boners,
thousands of boners. There's probably thousands
what's
of
the
boners.
ratio of boners to death? That's what I want to know.
It's uncountable.
If it's 16 boners to 15 deaths, that's
Wait,
too much
if
risk
it's
for
only
me.
15 deaths, there's countless boners. Like, we know this works.
Hundreds of millions of boners. 15 deaths.
Yeah.
Your odds are good.
Yeah. We just have to find out the number of bites.
I think it's definitely usable. It's marketable.
We don't condone getting purposely bit by spiders.
But if you already have and have some experience to speak of, please let us know.
Yeah, email the show
Producer, can you look up how to buy those spiders? Asking for a friend.
Order a bunch of Brazilian
pet store.
bananas and you'll get lucky.
Special order from PetSmart, and they'll come right on in.
They're also aggressive. They will chase you.
Cool.
Chase my cock.
Okay, wired.com. For the love of God, stop microwaving plastic. A study of baby food containers show that microwaving plastic releases millions upon millions of polymer bits. And I've been saying this for 25 plus years.
They're delicious.
Breastfeed.
There is no microwave. There is no microwave in my bunker. Just so you know.
I've converted my microwave to a microwave weapon,
Oh,
A
okay.
magnetron gun?
which I can still use to microwave food, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I made a magnetron gun before.
Exactly.
You can do it.
All right. Let's see here.
A mazer.
NPR.org. People are freaking out over a question mark seen in space. Scientists can explain. So there's this James Webb Telescope picture, and it looks just like a question mark. And I'm not buying their explanation. They're making some excuse about like a sun forming or something. I don't know, man.
Wait, so
It's the fucking Riddler.
It is the Riddler. He's out there.
it's a question mark. What do you mean? It's like a.
It's a question mark.
So what did they accidentally like? They accidentally took a picture of.
In deep space, they see a question mark sitting there.
It's the fucking Riddler.
It's
The problem solved. Which is kind of lame because the Riddler, like, if you remember the old Batman series, his riddles were fucking good.
riddle be this, Batman.
Yeah, but like nowadays they're getting shit. It's just like Hollywood. The movies are just fucking remakes.
The movies are just.
What's the producer doing right now?
Weather assessment. We're in the middle of a thunderstorm. We're actually in a severe thunderstorm scenario. It is a.
All right.
We're protected down here.
special
It's
weather
okay.
state.
So anyway, that was the Riddler.
All right, so here, does anyone know about this nut job? Insider.com, longevity-obsessed tech exec Brian Johnson has shockwave therapy on his penis because he wants erections as strong as a teenager's. But if he would just get a spider, he could have the erections
What if
that
you
he always
shockwave
asked.
the spider before it bites your mushroom?
Then you
and
get a Spider-Man problem. Then you become Spider Dick.
But no, I want to explore this other theory. Like, so he's sending what, like sonic waves through his cock?
Electric.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what
But like, what
shockwave-
does that do?
I don't know. He's
That Street
weird,
Fighter
man.
game where it goes Sonic Boom.
This guy's nuts.
But he's a tech exec. He must be smart. He's management.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
he made his money on some paid processor and he sold out. Now he's just rich. Shockwave therapy for erectile dysfunction isn't FDA approved, just so you know.
Whatever.
Yeah, I know. I don't trust that, but I still wouldn't be shocking my cock with anything, sound or electric. The spider
use the
looks
spider
more.
venom. You
The
don't
spider
need to
looks
do that.
more inviting to me than this. The guy's
Don't panic.
idea.
It's organic.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Well, like sound. It was electrical.
it probably was.
But I mean,
not-
that's
can't-
natural
I don't know.
too.
It was probably using 0-point energy.
How was he doing it? Was he sticking his dick in the socket?
He does a whole bunch of weird.
Maybe
ass
it's like a
shit.
small like MRI
You know,
machine.
he was taking blood from his son for a while. But
Do you
he-
think Tesla ever stuck his cock in the fucking
I don't think so.
Faraday cage like boundary that he made?
Nobody
Suck it
knows
out of
because
the
he locked
Faraday.
himself in a room with one of those badge readers that blinks all kinds of lights, and nobody.
True.
Do you? So, you know, he was taking blood from his son for a while, but then he noticed
Who, Tesla?
noticeable. No, Brian Johnson. He noticed no noticeable results, so he stopped doing that.
He was like
the fuck?
drinking
He was
or
getting blood
injecting?
infusions from his son. Dude, the guy's nuts.
Why?
So
he
he's
wants
rich.
to stay young forever. Yeah.
That's a rich people.
I know.
thing.
my Lord.
It is. It's weird. He was his blood boy. His boy was his blood boy.
Didn't they do something like that on that show, that old show Heroes on NBC? That was in the early 2000s, something like that.
I know, but you always hear about the rich people doing that. They're getting
Yeah,
infusions
they do.
from young people. Like it all started with Elizabeth Bathory back in like when was she around? Producer, what are you doing? You need to be googling this shit. Elizabeth Bathory.
Checking the weather for safety.
The nutty the person that bathed in
Oh, looks like
blood.
there's a situation out there.
Yeah, so she was alive in the 17th century. No, No, she was born in the 16th century. She died in the 17th century, so born in 1560. But yeah, she would capture or lure young women into her court, and then she would enslave them, and then she would murder them and like bathe them in blood.
Yeah, weird.
That's probably where it started.
Yeah, like vampire.
And now her name is Hillary Clinton, I think.
All right, we got a few more. We got a few more.
This shit's getting raw.
Bleepingcomputer.com, Cisco VPN targeted.
AnyConnect?
Yeah, AnyConnect. Products as a attack vector to breach corporate networks. But I didn't look this up. I think, is it only if they're using local credentials?
It's only if there's one factor of authentication. So, but there's a lot of companies that do that.
Yeah, I know there is.
Because their admins are too stupid or their management. So, don't mess around. We just need a little bit.
Now listen, if you had defense in depth, all right, and your VPN was poorly secured, and all you allowed your VPN to do was get to a jump server that was a hardened device with multi-factor, and every other thing you accessed could only be accessed from said jump server, then it wouldn't be such a problem. But no one wants to do that because everyone is lazy.
We do that for our MSP.
Oh, you actually have a jump server?
We make them go through a jump server, and we limited the firewall so they can only get.
Wait. You did that for your
IP
MSP?
addresses.
They must be pissed. You assholes.
No, they love it because they use our little tool to connect, and we give them like all the IPs they need to get to, and that's it. They can't get anywhere else.
Oh, did I shake my nose that they're out there and they got these fucking... Sounds like that.
Oh, shit, help me.
Yeah.
It's going off the rails.
Anyways, all right. Darkreading.com. Is that what? Yeah, darkreading.com. Black Cat trolls Western Digital with leaked response meeting image. So Black Cat hacks a whole bunch of stuff. They've been doing a lot lately. And they posted like screenshots and emails from like the incident and response team meetings and stuff. I think that's hilarious.
So who's this?
Black Cat. Black Cat.
Like the
meow.
construction?
Meow.
What is Black Cat?
It's a hacking group. And they use
so
Elf.
this is a what do they call it?
They use LV a lot as like a ransomware for sale thing.
An APT, Advanced Persistent Threat, right? So like Fancy Bear with Russia, like they got these code names. That's what Black Cat is.
I don't know.
What nation state do they represent?
We need to get a Black Hat hacker on Packets and Bolts. Email the show packetsandbolts@gmail.com if you're a Black Hat hacker.
Producer, where is this? Black Cat APT.
Black Cat. Meow.
Alpha. They're also known as Alpha V.
Well, no, LV is a ransomware for service or whatever. One of those things you can like pay for.
Oh,
if you want to hack companies.
That looks like my cat.
I don't know. I can't talk today. Too much drinking. So,
they're also affiliated with Conti, Darkside, Revel, and Black Matter.
Yeah, here's a fun statistic that I think is funny. Files.stack.com. Global ransomware attacks at an all-time high shows latest 2023 State of Ransomware report. And guess who's number one on the list? The USA has a hefty 43% of all global attacks. We're so far ahead of the competition. Yeah, it's amazing.
I saw the graph the other day. Like we are, it was a bar graph, and like we are like just blowing everybody
We're number
away.
one, baby.
And why not?
Yeah, let's own it. Own the fact we can't secure anything.
It's all city, municipal governments, and school systems.
It's not just that, dude. No way. It's
because
everything.
if you've ever worked with those organizations,
they're bad too.
Their IT is shit.
They're bad too, but no one cares to hack them because they're not going to get any data.
Well, they're getting hacked all the time.
But then there's not getting.
They're getting personal information.
They're getting students.
It's all like a means to an end. It's for identity theft.
All right, whatever.
But like every day, just look in the news. You're seeing some other school system that's hacked, and the school system always says, "Oh, we don't think anything like really important got stolen." I got stories to tell you about school systems after the break, but we got one more story to come up. SciTechDaily.com, so SCI Tech Daily. New research challenges advice to limit high-fat dairy foods. These guys did a study and showed that basically nuts, cheese,
whole fat dairy products, eggs, etc. All good. Just like I've been saying for 25 years, baby. Just like the microwaves will kill you, low-fat diet will kill you.
But here's what I think. I think that there's a lot of different diets that are fine for you. It's the processed shit that's going to kill you.
Exactly. Just eat natural food.
But there's a Netflix documentary out there right now. I forget what it's called. Maybe you guys have seen it. But it talks about athletes that have just gone on a vegan diet and they've done blood tests. And you can see that even like eating eggs, like when they spin, your blood and your plasma and they show it to you, like it's cloudy. So athletes that are on a vegan diet can perform better than athletes that aren't. They have more longevity. They can run longer races. Like they have less strain on their muscles.
I'd have to see that study.
But that's for athletes, and that's not necessarily for everybody. We've also seen that there's benefits to an all carnivore diet. Like there's evidence for that.
Yeah,
if you don't eat the boxed and processed shit, you're probably good.
True, but I'd challenge the vegan thing because if you're a strict vegan, you have to take B12 supplements. We're made to eat, some animal product because you don't get B12 from anything other than animal or certain algae, which I'm sure our ancestors were not eating algae randomly for B12.
Well, I think it depends on your ancestry. So, like Polynesian people are typically renowned for lactose intolerance because they
but fermented dairy is fine.
So I think there's a genetic predisposition to certain diets that are better for you, but
yeah. And I agree, and I don't think that we should be, cows are a different thing. All I'm saying is don't run from the fat, run from the sugar. All right, those were the headlines from August. What is the date today? 25th?
Something like that.
2023, Friday. Anything else? Any other things random?
Friday's fucking great.
Before we go to break?
I love Friday. You know what? Before you know it, it's going to be Monday. Fuck work. Anyway, good stuff, guys.
All right.
We got there.
Sir,
I need to drink more.
Sir Edmund, anything else before we go to break? I don't know. Doesn't sound like it.
We lost him.
I might have. We'll have to check on Admin Mike's connection on the Packets Bolts VPN.
He's just
there.
Mine was offended him.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. After the break, we'll have some. I don't know about emails, but maybe some listener feedback. Something that I keep hearing several times, and then we'll get into the COVID strains that are coming around. We'll be back right after this short break from our sponsor.
Hank Carlson here, proprietor of Baked Beans and Books and Furries Wear Boots. Did you ever wonder how many bites it would take to get to the bottom of a giant vat of baked beans? Well, I tried it once, but all the beans kept collapsing in on the hole I was making. I ate the whole vat. Stop on down to Baked Beans and Books to get yourself a heaping handful of baked beans and peruse the selection of books. While you're at it, stop at Furries Wear Boots. 11111 State Street, Madison, Wisconsin. Baked Beans and Books. When books just aren't enough.
And we're back. Packets and Bolts. August 25th, Friday, 2023. Email us, packetsandbolts@gmail.com.
It was a good
packetsandbolts@gmail.com.
You want to know how I started out my day today, guys?
Nope.
I logged in, and as soon as I went active on fucking Microsoft Teams, I was hit up by multiple IMs. The executives can't connect to wireless. Network issue. That's how my day started. I didn't do anything. I looked at the fucking radius logs, and somebody fucking removed these executives from their AD group.
Oh, that's awesome. Ooh.
And somebody looked into it. They found out who did it. They're getting a talking to, apparently.
Who are talking to? Ooh. Was this like an ad? Did someone fill a ticket out? Like, how does that happen?
These people connected a few days ago. Somebody fucked shit up in AD with executives. How do you think that plays out?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. This is this should be like Tales from the Admin. Tales from the Admin.
We always have tales from the end.
Tales.
Yeah, there's usually a few that sneak in there.
All right. So we're drinking house margaritas today, not the normal premium margarita. Now, a true margarita is lime juice, tequila, and some sort of triple sec, Cointreau, Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier. Now, some people like Grand Marnier. I do not. It's too bitter orange. I like the Cointreau better.
What about what's the syrup? Agave syrup?
Okay, so there's some debate here. I would argue a real margarita has no added sweetener. But if you do want some, you could throw a little bit either simple syrup or agave syrup. Yeah.
See, when I make margaritas,
maybe a bar spoon.
It's
a bar spoon
It's
worth.
real limes, but
Real
sometimes I'll supplement it with sweetened lime juice, or what I'd rather do is just fresh limes and a little bit of agave syrup. And of
Splenda.
course, there's triple sec, or like you said, Cointreau. I have both of those in my liquor cabinet.
All right.
NutraSweet.
Yeah.
Honeysuckle.
And I still fail to see what the difference is between this poor man's margarita that you call it, the commoners.
I didn't call it that. I called it a house margarita.
Yeah.
You're calling it the poor
Okay,
man's.
whatever.
So
house
the difference is, if you don't detect a difference, then I did my job.
It's really good. The only
Then
problem I
did my
have with
job.
this is that there's no salt on the rim. Muskrat.
That's got nothing to do with the liquid in it, though. It's good, but I'm not a connoisseur.
You
of
need the
margarita.
sweet and salty.
Yeah, you know what sucks is when you order a margarita, and it comes with salt, so you think, and it's actually a sugar salt mix. I do not like that.
No.
I do not like that. All right. So we're drinking margaritas here. packetsandbolts@gmail.com. Email the show, packetsandbolts@gmail.com. Follow us on Discord and Mastodon.
We're drinking house margaritas out of martini glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Check out our MySpace page.
Well, technically, that's a cocktail glass, which can be used for many
our
cocktails.
GeoCities site.
We have no garnish.
Why don't we have
Where's
a
the
GeoCities?
Why don't we have a garnish?
Does GeoCities
Well,
still
I
exist?
put some in mine.
Where?
You'll have to go
Muskrat, you stole my limes to garnish your margarita. Where's my
There
garnish?
is some lime in all of ours. I did put
Yeah, I don't.
lime
You
in.
say limes, I see like a chunk in there, like a lime.
Because I
color.
always argue that even when you're using a mix, put some real lime in, no matter what. No matter what.
What about just zest? Some lime zest.
Yeah, if you want to get funky.
I'll tell
You could express-
Zest is good for cooking.
If you have a lime peel and you express it,
If you don't have a zester in your cooking repertoire,
Get some sandpaper.
you need to get one.
yes. Now Zeppelin only sang about lemons, not limes, but
You typically don't zest a lime for dishes, but maybe
I have
Caribbean dishes.
one day I'll make. I got this good salmon
with
recipe.
lime zest.
Yeah, I throw some lime zest in there. You go.
All right. What about avocado zest?
No.
Okay.
No. Good God, man.
How about rutabaga zest?
Muskrat, though, you love avocados. You had
Yeah.
something avocado the other day.
Yeah, so aqua chili or something. Agua chili? I don't know. It was a weird thing, and it was very spicy. Very spicy.
Do you want to give a shout out to the chef that you recently talked to?
Lake Geneva Cooking School. If you're in Lake Geneva area,
Which is Wisconsin.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, you'll want to go to the Lake Geneva Cooking School. You got to reserve it ahead of time and have yourself a nummy meal. He'll help you through it. Chef, is it Jeff? Jacques? John. It's a J. Chef John.
Wait, his name's John?
I think so, yeah.
What's his
Just bring
French?
back
What's
mem-
his French alias?
I don't know if he gave one.
Let's just call him Chef Jacques.
Jacques.
His real name is Chef Generic Eric.
All right. All right. So listener feedback. There's not going to be an email. So I've been told multiple times that we need a producer.
Our email is down.
Now,
No, it's not.
Now
Just
we have a producer theoretically here today, but what they mean when they say producer is someone to actually help us producing the show, not just
Not
an
just sitting there
assistant to-
playing on the phone.
not just
No,
an assistant to look up facts. like actually produce it. But here's the deal about Packets and Bolts, everyone.
What's raw?
It's a free-for-all.
We are the rawest podcast.
raw.
We're the longest running rawest podcast to date that I can think of.
That's true. You will not find a rawer podcast.
I'm more raw. I don't think raw is.
And if you want to know more about how raw this shit is, email us or direct message us on OnlyFans.
Or Discord. Now, the thing is, if you want to join us on Discord, find us in the description. I put the link there because Discord's weird about how you find people unless you're like super famous. And I know it might surprise some people. We're not yet super famous.
We try to keep that shit on the down low.
You
We
have to
are
have-
famous, but we downplay ourselves.
Someone that's like a Discord expert was telling me something about like you have to have X number of followers before you can like be like searchable in Discord. Or something. I don't know. It's all weird.
Nobody follows IT. That's the problem.
So you can get our link. It's like an open invite link that I put in the description of every show. And people have randomly found us. I'm sure most people just ignore the
IT
fact.
people.
I say look us
We're
up on
big
Discord.
in the industry, yo.
In theory, because everyone remembers Matt Stein. He's been on the show a couple times.
Incredible drummer.
I think he stopped doing podcasts, but when he was doing podcasts,
'Cause
he
he's
would
drumming.
yes, he's an ultimate drummer. He would live stream it. Well, he would simulcast, I guess, on Discord. And so in theory, we might do that someday if we ever get enough people that want to hear us live. But then it's gonna have to be weird because they're going to have to listen through that setup. We're probably going to have to change our setup if we do that. I don't know. I'm not thinking about that today.
More to come on that later.
It's going to be incredible.
Anyways, so listener feedback of getting a producer, probably not going to happen.
We
But-
have a producer.
Yeah,
We don't like the we like the all natural. We don't need the
Yeah,
polish.
yeah. We're not going to like add some weird tones and make our voices.
Because we don't do that. We don't use sound effects.
Yeah,
Have you heard any sound effects on this podcast today?
We're not going to modify our stuff.
We don't use clever sound effects like backing music, slick drink
By the way,
tracks.
the music that was sent for the break that I just played, which is a new one, is also a listener-provided soundbite, along with this that we are listening to. So send us music if you wish. We'll use it on the show, as long as you give us permission to use it on the show.
Well, by giving it to us, you give us permission to use it.
Yeah. Any submissions to us is 100% usable in any way we deem fit.
Yes. We also
Not commercially.
Right.
We're not going to resell your music.
Yeah,
but we're using it.
We need to monetize this podcast because we're poor as fuck. We're IT people. No respect, man. So just make sure your music's original.
This podcast is brought to you by Cisco.
Not. We are not endorsed in any way by Cisco. Not the food company
Cisco
nor the
sucks
technology
anyway.
company. Oh, I got a great story to tell you about Cisco, but I can't.
Why?
It's not something I can share. But anyways, it would be a great story to tell.
You can tell like generically.
What wasn't I gonna say something before the break that we had
Didn't you
mentioned
tell me
something?
the other day,
You know,
Muskrat, that Cisco's losing market share?
Well, that's no secret. The industry term is vendor incumbent. What was it? Fatigue. Incumbent fatigue.
Everybody's tiring of Cisco.
Oh yeah, I wonder why. Maybe they're
I
licensing.
know
us something
my
to do with it.
companies that I work for right now is looking at Arista.
Interesting. That's out of left field.
Yeah, they were very prominently Cisco, and now there's Palo Alto firewalls. There's
Well,
Juniper
the
switches,
firewall they've lost. The
and
battle.
now they're going Arista for
There's
wireless.
3Com
and,
unmanaged
like,
switches.
Switches. Yeah, there's fucking hubs
Juniper.
everywhere.
Hubs.
Just kidding. I'm kidding about the hubs.
Juniper.
Broadcast domains.
Juniper. I have mixed feelings on Juniper.
Juniper's good stuff. They've always been good. I mean, for routers, I mean, what? Come on, man.
They made SBCs, dude, didn't they, for a while? Or
Oh yeah,
do?
but then they got out of that business for some reason. As soon as they dipped their toes in it, they pulled it out.
Who out there is using Dell Force 10 switching?
Dell's.
Oh wait, Dell's got OS 10 now. Sorry, that's their operating system.
What was I gonna say before the break? Now I can't remember. I said an interesting story that I'll share after the break. It was.
I think I kind of remember you saying that, but I don't remember what
You don't
that was
remember.
related to.
Oh well, it'll have to be for another day. All right, let's get on to the main topic. Oh yeah.
Is this IT related?
So this is COVID.
Oh shit! Yes, it's IT.
So we're
all
having
comes
this
back
show
to IT.
because of the scuttlebutt, and since this is the podcast about technology, life, philosophy, and everything in between, we're gonna
Wait,
talk
wait,
about
wait.
some scuttlebutt.
Did you see the new Little Mermaid movie?
What the hell?
Did
a left
you?
turn.
Did you?
Producer, did you see the new?
Are you talking about
So-
the live action one?
Yeah, the one that everybody made a big fuss about. She was Ariel, being African American.
I didn't know there was a fuss.
Tell you what, I saw that movie and I was blown away.
No.
It was good.
It was good. All right.
It was good, and she was so good, so cute, so good. And they sing a song about the scuttlebutt.
Really?
Yeah,
So you're
the crab in it. What's the Sebastian? Is that the crab's name?
Yes.
maybe
You guys in the Little Mermaid?
no, but yeah.
So
Thing about the movies that the CGI was really bad.
Why would they have a live action with CGI?
I thought- well, I mean, all movies these days have.
No,
CGI,
I know that,
right?
but they
it
instead
was
of
good.
animating, they go live action and they put CGI in. Why don't they just animated it? That's my only complaint. Why are they doing live action for all these old animated things? It's really weird.
So like, I get dragged to these
Make a few
kids'
bucks.
movies, and like, I see them, and I think they're gonna suck, and they're all good, except for I saw the Barbie movie recently.
That's
Sorry.
unfortunate. Yeah.
It sucked ass. That's the first kids movie I've seen that I got dragged to. That I mean, it was tolerable.
Well, you've been in all these public places. You've probably got COVID again.
Yeah, I have, and I'm fine. I'm still.
You think you got the new horrible variant?
I think.
All right.
I think I do.
So the scuttlebutt is
scuttlebutt.
here's the scuttlebutt. The scuttlebutt is there's been some reports that coming from Canada, there's some very naughty COVID variants.
But aren't they more like anti-COVID than anybody around? Like, aren't they still wearing masks?
I'm just saying news reports, and now it's in Michigan. So CDC tracking, this is from CBSnews.com. CDC tracking new COVID variant BA.2.86 after a highly mutated strain reported in Michigan. Highly mutated. Almost sounds like it's been gain of functioned. But anyways,
Wait, what's the variant called?
BA.2.86.
That's
But
good
I thought
for-
it was EG 5.1.
I don't know. Did you
No, it's
find
Netscape
that?
Navigator
So that's
6.
the other. That's the other variant that was classified
no.
by the World Health Organization on August 9th.
Oh my gosh. August 9th?
Dude, they're everywhere.
This is from August 18.
Nobody knows.
Holy shit! This shit is mutating faster.
Gain of function.
Oh, it's mutating so fast. It
Yeah,
happens
August
around every
18th.
election year.
This is August 18th.
Yeah,
Yes,
so-
every election year.
So the Eris variant, which is the descendant of Omicron, which is EG 5.1, was the one I'm talking about. It was classified on August 9th, and they said as of August 18th, and I just fucking lost it. Oh, as of August 18th, they said it made up an estimated 20.6% of the new COVID cases.
Well, this one is coming from Michigan. And here's the thing. There's like prisons that are not letting people...
Wait, did you say BA 2.8.6?
Just like that. Yeah.
Holy fuck, that's
I
the
thought
other
I said,
one.
I thought I said OU812.
2.86. 2.86.
Yeah, I see that now.
Oh, they're coming all over. So the thing is they're starting to do things like in prisons, they won't let people visit now. And lawyers have to do all these,
Zoom.
no, they have to just go through all these protocols.
Do the prisoners wear masks?
So I think that's what they're...
No, because you could make a shiv out of it.
Not all day. I'm just saying.
Well, then they're protected if they're wearing masks.
well, the thing is, everyone now, or there's certain people that are saying this is coming up and it seems suspicious that they're trying to make this to be something very, very severe where it might not be so severe. And so here the theory is.
Oh, like last time.
The theory is by fall, we're going to have lockdowns again. Now, first of all, what does everyone think? And me personally, I have a feeling that if enough people already get ahead of this and freak out, that they would purposely not do a lockdown because they wouldn't want to prove all the conspiracies right. That's my personal belief.
Well, I would say that the first lockdown was kind of a test drive for the government just to see if they could freak everybody out and make everybody stay home. And it worked. Everybody freaked the hell out and got all scared. But if they try to use the same thing again a few years later, I don't know. I think people would be like, well, I don't know. I'm not that scared anymore.
Was anyone at this table scared during the lockdowns?
I was.
Really? Of disease?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I was more scared like my grandma. Like would I be around her? She was older. Like would that that impact her?
When the shit first started and we were ordered to stay home and we were told that people are dying left and right, I was that guy in the grocery store. It was double masking, and I wore a hood. I bundled up, and it was cold. It was cold at the time, right? So it was, I don't know, it was cold. But I'm sitting there, and I looked like a fucking Eskimo. And people, they were also wearing masks. They looked at me like I was insane.
You're like Kenny. You look like
And
Kenny.
for like a month, I sanitized some of my groceries when I got home.
With what? Because my dad...
With like sanitizer wipes.
My dad sprayed Lysol. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
I did that.
Well, that will definitely get rid of the COVID, but...
And I know a lot of people that did that. So I don't think that was an unnatural reaction because I think naturally you want to trust what you're told. Like if people tell you that there's a fucking pandemic and people are dying, and you know that historically with the cycles and things, like the last time we had one was the flu pandemic in 1918. Spanish flu, we were on the verge. Like we've been told that for years that it's coming.
Well, it may not even be like do you want to believe what you're being told? But it's something that you're like, maybe this is bullshit, but do you want to roll the dice on it? Because this could potentially be like people's lives at stake. Like, do you want to?
And you care more about the people around you that you care about yourself. Right?
I don't want to be that guy if like that's really what's happening here.
Yeah, I wasn't scared. I assumed everyone was going to get it. I was actually flying international when the theories were going around because
you said you got it.
I did earlier.
I think I got it too. Yeah,
I was in the airports in November before, so 2019 November, and there was more scuttlebutt about something going around, and I was making jokes about, well, we're going through international airports, so if there's anything happening, we're going to be getting it. Well, anyways, I got sick sometime in the beginning of 2020, I believe, and if I would have been in worse shape, I probably would have been hospitalized maybe, very bad breathing, etc. Had to, and I resorted towards the middle of my illness. I resorted to sleeping in a recliner so that I was kind of elevated enough that my lungs wouldn't because I was having problems breathing, and then edibles. That's what cured the reduction of inflammation.
A little shot of whiskey.
Well, I think I had it too. Like the first, week of January of that year. It was, I had it was like the worst case of the flu I could say or speak to for my adult life. Like week long, just couldn't eat nothing, yakking, no energy. Like then I get all hungry, eat stuff, and yak that, and drink a bunch of water.
You were puking.
Yeah. It was like this a really bad flu.
Interesting.
And, looking back, that's probably what it ended up being.
When the pandemic started, I was eating relatively healthy, and then I stepped up my healthy eating game. And I remember when we got sent home from work to work at home, and they locked down the office, I told my boss, I'm not worried about this shit because my immune system's going to beat this shit. But then it scared me when I looked into this, and they were talking about the, what's the part of the immune system? Producer, what is it? By the way, the producer is the smartest one at the table, and I swear to God. Normally, our producer knows all this shit, but
Lycocamp or something.
Legos.
Eggo waffles. Lego my Eggo.
The part of your immune system that
Lycofate.
It starts with a Lyco.
Who cares what it's called? Just describe it.
But there was some evidence that if your immune system was operating optimally, that it could attack your body. And that was part of the narrative. And I don't know if people remember that, but that a high-powered immune system could actually work against you.
Oh, yeah.
And that was part of the fear-mongering.
Overreact. Yeah.
And I feel like it was fear-mongering. In hindsight, I feel like it was fear-mongering.
I think with that whole thing, nobody really knew what the hell was going on. Everybody's freaking out, and I don't think anybody really still knows enough about it to really
Lymphocyte?
speak confidently and
No.
say one way or the other. I don't know. Time will tell, but
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't scared personally, but I did get sick early, and then after that, I was extra not scared because I was pretty sure I was immune. Funny enough,
I got COVID. Maybe I had already had the booster, so that's what's like crazy. Is you hear a lot about
every
this
other day for a while.
yeah, you get it after you get injected.
and that's a large part of like the narrative that's going around on the right now politically is that the people that got the vaccination and the booster, they're claiming are the people that are getting it, and I can't say that I argue with that because I know people that refuse to get the vaccine and they've never had COVID.
There is some evidence that the shots plus boosters, etc., give negative efficacy, whereas you will be more likely to get it after being immunized. And like I said, I got it early naturally, and natural immunity is better. And I was fine until after I got my shots, and then I got it again.
Well, it could be, same thing with the flu. Like you could get your flu shot annually, and you could still get the flu after that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right, but there is an actual thing where some vaccines give negative efficacy. The problem is they're not letting a lot of the data out. So this is something that RFK Jr. has been talking about, and there are studies showing this possible relationship. Now, he, of course, doesn't say that's proven because we would have to do more studies. But guess what? They don't want to do more studies to show that kind of stuff because there's this narrative that's being,
well,
claimed.
it's only been around for a few years. How many studies can you do at one time? There's tons of.
Well, but the argument is they're avoiding some of these on purpose because pharma funds a lot of candidates.
So, there's something to be said for the money grab from big pharma, right? We've always known that they're looming out there, and we've always known, at least the critical thinking people know that it's a profit-oriented thing. Big pharma, they don't profit from cures, and they're trying to make money, right? So there was a story that came out, I think, I'm looking at CNBC, Health and Science section, Monday, August 21st. Headline, COVID vaccine stocks jump as new variants emerge ahead of fall shot rollout.
Wow.
So, and I've heard this. If
Wait,
you've
you can
been
get stock in COVID?
Yeah, so if you've been looking at, just listening daily news, and I do every morning as part of my routine, I'll listen to the daily news.
Wow.
Within the last few days, I've been hearing more and more about the rollout of the new shot. And apparently this article is saying that stocks are jumping.
Can you see any more perverse incentive than the fact that the stocks rose on the news that there's a Delta variant or a COVID variant that's bad?
Yeah, shares of Novavax closed more than 13% higher.
So what would prevent
Moderna?
What would prevent these companies from engineering new variants that are more deadly? I'm just saying, guys.
They may not be engineering these things, but they want to push the vaccines. They want to push the narrative that you need to keep getting vaccinated.
True.
And I don't want our podcast to come off as saying that like vaccines are bad.
No, of course not. We all know vaccines work. Some vaccines work.
But we do want to espouse the ideals of RFK, who's saying that, right? Like we all agree that more studies and more data is needed about these vaccines, right?
I would say
and
so.
he gets, and I'm not an RFK stan, right? I'm not like 100% like we need to elect RFK as the next president. And, I have my concerns, but I do 100% agree that, he's been looking at vaccines for a long time and he has concerns. And I think I agree with all that. We need to do more studies.
There's nothing wrong with asking questions or doing studies.
We talked about this on a previous podcast, right? Where when we talked about on this podcast prior to the mRNA rollout officially, when it finally came about in 2020, 2021, we talked about how they had tried these same vaccines in labs and people were dying.
Well, the animals,
Animals were dying.
Yeah. They couldn't figure it out for a long time.
And they couldn't figure it out. And then they roll it out mass-produced to the entire fucking globe.
Yeah, I tried not getting the mRNA. I wanted the Johnson & Johnson, and the day before I got it, they put a hold on it. and then I was being delayed, and I didn't want to get turned down for concerts that I was going to, so I went and got the other ones. Then they allowed it again, and I wanted that one because it wasn't an mRNA
The
one.
J&J one was the one?
Yeah, J&J
That's
is
what I
not
got.
an mRNA, yeah. And now I was told, we should look this up, producer, that the Johnson & Johnson was pulled. Like they're saying no more now. But
Why?
I think it was more problematic to women.
There were problems with that vaccine that were,
Well, no vaccine is 100%.
Yeah, they all have problems.
but there were more initial problems, like reactions, I should say, to the J&J vaccine. I remember that narrative. I don't know how true it is.
So I had it. I got that, and so I think I got it like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I felt fine until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I could feel my cheeks getting flushed. I felt kind of drawn out, tired. I didn't take my temperature, but I was probably running a fever. Next day, like, just felt
Dead
like
to the
sick like an idiot. Like, just didn't want to get to bed. But then about 6 o'clock the next day, like, it's like somebody turned it off.
And that's what's weird,
That was
because
fine.
you said you had the J&J vaccine, and, did you say that's not mRNA?
Right.
That was-
It's a more traditional. They
Supposed to be one and
loaded
done.
it with a virus.
So
They took
it's
a
interesting, and
virus.
maybe it's a small sample size, but I maintain that my experience, and I've had 2 Moderna shots, right? Because the Moderna and the Pfizer were both a 2-shot set, and then I had the first booster, and in each, I should say, the first shot wasn't as bad, but the second shot, I had the exact same reaction. And the booster, which they said was like half a dose, because it wasn't a full dose because it was a booster, right? I had the exact same thing. And what's crazy is after my second shot, I told people at the company I was working for at the time, I said, if I have to take this shit again, I'm taking the next day off, because I worked the next day after I got that, and I felt like I got run over by
I
a
did.
truck.
Well, I was supposed to meet you guys for lunch that next day, and I had called that off because I was just
Yeah, and I take the
bastard.
booster, and the next day, sure as shit, I felt like I got run over by a truck, and I didn't take off like a dumbass. I told myself I would, I didn't.
Yeah.
But it was the same. See, that's the thing. It was the same thing. Is Dub Stench's experience with the J&J shot? The same exact thing.
Yeah.
I took it. I was fine for several hours. I felt it set in, and then boom, that night, and then the next day, and all of a sudden, as soon as that like trial ended or that period ended, I was like, boom. It was like night and day. It was like I was bad, and then all of a sudden, an hour later, I was good.
Interesting. Yeah, the J&J is no longer available in the United States, and the last dose has expired in May. Now, that's the one I wanted, but oh well.
Because it was a one shot. Like,
It was a one, and it was a traditional. They took some other virus, I believe, or a bacteria. They took a bacteria, and they put the virus in it or some shit. I don't remember. Something they've done before. And actually, the Cuban virus, or the Cuban vaccine, is a more traditional one. I don't remember exactly what they do. But from all that I've heard, last I checked, this is like months and months and months ago, the Cuban vaccine seemed to be pretty effective. But I don't live in Cuba.
Then we have to worry about it.
Yeah, are we still embargoing Cuba?
We always do. That's another topic. Anyways, so predictions, because this is not going to be a long, in-depth discussion on the COVID arising. But do we think by fall the lockdowns are coming? Predictions, Mongoose.
Well, if you feel you have a runny nose, headache, fatigue, sneezing, or sore throat, you may have a cold. You may have the flu. Or you may have the Era strain of Omicron COVID.
Sounds like a cool,
This is according to a ZOE. What the fuck is ZOE health study?
Zebra Environmental
So,
Institute.
hold on, wait for it. ZOE.
Zebra Organizational.
I still don't know what. Why is it?
It's a news site for zebras by zebras.
Dude, like, they do a really good job on their websites to obscure shit. Who are their web admins? We need to hire these people.
All right,
All right,
so
I found
you're-
out. What is ZOE? Well, they got their
Sounds like a
vision, their
pharmaceutical.
founders, a bunch of fucking old white guys
Zebra
working
Extremist
for the World Health Organization, the W. Yeah, anyway. So, you know what?
So your prediction?
My prediction is that Flu cases will be down again this year. Almost non-existent, but COVID cases will be through the roof. Did you notice that, Muskrat?
Well, yes. However, the theory is that this was even taking that into account, there was more of an increase with the thing that I have. We could have a whole show on this. The thing that I always thought was weird, and I would have been pissed if I had anyone in the hospital during that time, is that they didn't let family visit their loved ones even when they were dying. And I don't know how that's legal.
Well, it's beyond that. What about all the fucking cancer patients that had terminal cancer and they were seeing, their specialists, and they were refused. They couldn't go and get treatment.
Any of that's legal.
I don't know how you quantify that, but there were a lot of cancer patients that succumbed to cancer that probably could have been treated and given them more time, but they couldn't go to the doctor because of the COVID restrictions.
Very suspicious. So Mongoose predicts that flu will be down and COVID will be up. Yes. Dubstench.
I am going to predict that there will be a nice blend, possible overshadowing from COVID with the sudden-rise in UFO news. And that is going to play big.
Oh, I forgot that story.
Coming up.
I forgot the story from, was it Brazil? No, Peru. There were natives in a village were seeing 7-foot-tall supposed aliens that were cutting their throats, but they were actually like miners supposedly dressed as aliens on jetpacks. So this is weird. Anyways, we should have covered that in the beginning of this.
Wait, I like to add the UFO elements.
Yeah, the UFOs are coming too.
Well, so hold on. So
no, you're done.
We cannot end this podcast yet because we have not explored the breadth of BA 2.86.
Well, my prediction, first of all, before we get into that, is that my prediction.
He just totally derailed it.
He doesn't have a prediction.
Because you came at rolling in there with that.
The BA 82686. 1986 was a good year, by the way. Not as good as 1985, but it was a close one.
Do you think there's
Challenger happened in 86?
Do you think there's a symbolism with the 86 and this COVID variant?
86 Challenger, I don't agree with. I didn't like Challenger. It was not. I remember watching that.
So you know that those people are still alive.
There's another podcast.
That's another podcast.
That's another podcast.
My prediction for COVID. Okay, so there is going to be some attempts at making people more freaked out about COVID. I don't know if they will go for a lockdown. I don't know if people will stand for
masks.
I don't know if they'll stand for it.
First step is masks, right?
They're already pushing that. I don't know if they're going to stand for lockdowns.
Do you have your masks on hand?
I got them somewhere. I don't know. I'll have to pull them back out, put my coffee filters in there.
So if you had a kid in school and they were like, your kid needs to start wearing masks at school again, would you be okay with that?
I mean, I don't.
Fine if you supply them.
It's his problem. It's not mine. I'm not in this school.
I'm thinking hypothetically.
I mean, I don't care if they made. I mean, I think he had to wear. I think my kid did, and I had to wear them when I went in places. So I don't know, whatever. It's not effective.
Have they done any psychological studies about the effects of masks on kids when they're at such an age where they need that social exposure and sometimes face-to-face interaction means a lot, right?
Well, yeah, there's going to be problems with that.
When I was a kid, I liked to play jokes and kind of get some laughs and stuff. You can't tell when your classmates are smiling or laughing when they're wearing a mask, so you don't really get good feedback on your high
So you assume that everybody's laughing.
Or you assume everybody's pissed.
You got to wear one that's like translucent.
So if
patent pending.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Some sort of
Hold on. Nobody can do this because we've already patented this by idea.
Our producer's on the U.S. patent website right now.
Yes, we have already patented this.
Translucent
she just
fabric.
Clicked enter.
Submit.
All right.
Soon, translucent masks are coming to you.
Got to do a quick captcha, but yeah, submit.
You can see smiles.
Pantyhose with silver. Now, at any rate.
Hold on. The BA 2.86.
Yes,
variant.
what's going on with the BA 2.86?
It's in Israel. It's in the UK.
Oh, no.
It's on the moon.
And you said it's in Michigan?
Yes. It's getting close.
That's debatable. It's coming to a store near you.
Well, we're hearing those chimes. Remember, stay safe. Keep packing those bolts. Email the show, packetsandbolts@gmail.com. Packetsandbolts@gmail.com. It is Friday, August 25th, 2023.
And you know, before long, you're going to be stuck at home, and all you'll have to do is listen to Packets and Bolts.
That's right.
Lockdowns are coming.
I'm not sure they will, but maybe. Remember, like I said it once, I'll say it again. Keep packing those bolts, and until next time, see ya.
Real goat.